The story you're telling me makes absolutely no sense. Here's the thing. I don't even know if you understand what you're saying to me. You keep changing your story. You told me you didn't have employment, that you hadn't worked for 5 to 6 years. And then now you're telling me, no, I wasn't just living off the grandmother. I had my own money. No, you didn't. You hadn't been working. I mean, you're saying, but you're telling me completely different stories. And now you're telling me that you have a 35-year-old that you're going to live with. Who is this 35-year-old? Can I have parties announced, please?
Defendant for the state of Texas.
Denny Callahan, defense.
And are you Vanessa Miravete?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You entered a plea to injury to the elderly. According to your plea bargain agreement, the state is silent on your application. And there's an affirmative finding of family violence, and this is run concurrent with a county court cause number. All right, are there any witnesses, defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will hear your argument.
Your Honor, asked the court to take notice of the jail classification. Its weakness, of course, is that it's self-reported, but it corroborates to some degree what the MEC evaluation says. In the past, she's had mental illness problems, and less so now. And the number 2 point, Your Honor, is that the complainant in this case, in both cases, misdemeanor, your court, not interested in hurting this woman. She filed on prosecution, but there was a damage made by glass broken up against her eyes, so there was damage. She's remorseful for that. Her plan is to live with a 35-year-old friend of hers that she's known for a couple of years. There's no more contact between the boyfriend and the complainant, who is the boyfriend's grandmother. That's finished, that's over. And she doesn't plan to return to that. I asked the court to consider deferred adjudication with some type of supervision regarding where she's going to live. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, so let me understand this. So the facts of this case are that the elderly person was in an argument with her grandson. Is that correct?
No, Your Honor, the other way.
It says,
grandmother
it said she had been arguing with her grandson and the suspect got involved.
Oh, prior to that, yes, Your Honor, but the real issue was conflict between grandma and her.
All right, you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly, right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Vanessa,
All right, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Louder.
Vanessa,
All right, so what is your relationship to the victim in this case?
there's no relationship anymore. But, I was with her grandson,
All right, so you, and how old are you?
24.
24. And how old is the grandson?
He just turned 20 in January.
All right, and you were living with her?
I was living there for about 5 or 6 years
You were living with her?
with her and the grandson.
All right, but that's her house, right?
Yeah.
It's not the grandson's house. So you come in and you live with the grandmother and the grandson.
Yeah.
And then she gets into an argument with her grandson.
Mhm.
And what was that argument about?
I don't remember the exact details due to the fact that
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I don't remember the exact details because I was under the influence.
Under the influence of what?
Xanax.
All right.
Talking to my face.
So she's in an argument with her grandson. And then what do you do?
So I was, I guess, like in the middle, I guess. There was a lot of things going on due to like a lot of abuse.
You have said some things, but you haven't told me anything. So,
Yeah, Your Honor, how
Yeah.
did she get hurt?
So I got pushed into her.
no, that's not what this says. Because if you were just pushed into her, then maybe you need a jury trial. if you're saying you were just pushed into her. But that's not what it says. In the police report, it says, while on patrol in a marked vehicle, I was dispatched to the listed location for an assault in progress. The caller stated his brother and the girlfriend were arguing, and the girlfriend hit the grandmother. The caller stated the grandmother was bleeding from her head and nose. I arrived to the listed location and saw both victim 1 and O1 sitting outside on the porch. Victim 1 had visible injuries on her face and head. Victim had a small cut on the bridge of her nose, which was still bleeding. Victim had a small cut on the top of her head that was covered in blood. Victim also had a lump on the right side of her head. Victim said she had been arguing with her grandson. Victim said she had been arguing with her grandson, and the suspect got involved and began to argue with her. Victim said she doesn't remember how or what she was hit with, but the suspect walked up to her and hit her. O1 said suspect had threatened to beat up the victim before. So unless you were on Xanax all the time you were at that house?
I was on Xanax for the last 2 years that I was living there.
Mhm. All right, is there anything else?
Moment, please, Your Honor. Nothing further, Your Honor.
So why were you not living with your parents?
So, and,
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
so I'm from Wisconsin and moved like 5.
You're from the what?
From Wisconsin.
Okay,
And so I moved in with him and I was living with him, basically for both of them because.
did you have a job?
No.
How long have you been unemployed?
Since I got with my grandson
And how long has that been?
about 6 years ago, 5.
So 6 years you have been unemployed. So why did you leave Wisconsin to hook your life to this person?
It's just being young.
Because your parents said they didn't like him or something, and you decided to do it anyway?
No, I just, my parents just approved, but at the time,
And how old were you when you met him?
so I met when I was 17, but I didn't start a relationship with him until I was 18.
Mhm.
Like about a week after I turned 18.
And how far did you go in school?
9th grade.
9th grade? Yeah, so it sounds to me like you were not listening to your parents. Did your parents want you to get your degree or no?
They did, so I was, taking care of my mom. My mom is disabled, and so I was taking care of her, working at the time, and I had a part-time job going to school. And I was taking care of my mom, which she's disabled, and my little brother who's also with autism. So I felt like I had a lot on my plate, and so I chose to work instead of go to school.
And then you chose to leave them on their own because you wanted your own life.
Well, my mom had got married, and so she met her husband, which he still takes care of.
Mhm. All right, what is your criminal history?
No, I don't believe. A lot of
No felonies, Your Honor.
So the only history she has are just the 2 cases that have been before Your Honor, which is this injured elderly and then the concurrent misdemeanor.
Violation of protective order? And is that with the same person?
Yes,
It's with the same person, yes, Your Honor.
And when did that occur?
That occurred about a month after this took place.
So She had a,
Brief summary of those facts if you'd like.
well, what date was the violation of protective order, the offense date?
December 17, 2024. This happened November 27th.
All right. So you want to tell me about this violation of protective order?
So I've never like been in trouble before, so I didn't, realize like whenever, I didn't know how the law worked basically.
Well, I mean, if somebody tells you, if you receive an order saying that you can't contact somebody, that's how the law works. The order says you can't contact them.
Yeah,
So continue.
so I had went to, pack my stuff and so I was getting ready to leave and I guess the grandson had got mad. That I was getting ready to leave because I was wanting to leave him too. I was with him for 6 years, on and off abusive relationship, so because I didn't really have family here in San Antonio, it was harder for me to like just walk away from the relationship.
All right. And what is this case about? The violation of protective order?
So essentially, the same victim in this injured elderly case had concerns that there were other people in the house she wasn't aware of. So she calls 911, police respond, she lets them into the house and they find this defendant hiding in the closet of her boyfriend's room. And she's removed from the.
All right. So obviously you knew there was a protective order because otherwise you wouldn't be hiding in the closet.
Well, I was forced into the closet. The grandson had threatened me into going into the closet.
The story you're telling me makes absolutely no sense. You have a protective order that you're not supposed to be there. You go there anyway. And now you're saying that you were hiding in the closet because the boyfriend told you to hide in the closet.
Well, he was very abusive. He had weapons and things like that. So I was very afraid of him. My family could testify to the abuse as well. They had called the police on him multiple times before all this occurred.
And when they called the police on him before, what did you do? Did you do an affidavit of non-prosecution or say, my family is not telling the truth?
So they never gave me like the option or like explain that to me how the affidavits work.
No, I mean, it's either you said yes or no, because times have changed. When the police are called out for an abusive situation, your attorney will tell you somebody's getting arrested.
Yeah. So
Now, after the
he would
fact,
get arrested and
Mhm.
his sister would bail him out within like a few hours. So he would be home immediately after being arrested. So even when he had a protective order, the first time he got arrested, he was still back and he was
because the protective order, that the house you were staying in, that's not your house. That's his grandmother's house. You all are adults, just decided to impose yourself on his grandmother. You're there, you don't have a job, and you're just living off the grandmother.
No,
And
I
now,
have income, still from my family.
no, you told me that you hadn't worked in 5 years or 6 years.
Yeah, so due to the relationship, I wasn't able to work and I also didn't have, like my birth certificate for a long time, so I had to get it sent out.
Here's the thing. I don't even know if you understand what you're saying to me. You keep changing your story. You told me you didn't have employment, that you hadn't worked for 5 to 6 years. And then now you're telling me, no, I wasn't just living off the grandmother. I had my own money. No, you didn't. You hadn't been working. I mean, you're saying, but you're telling me completely different stories. And now you're telling me that you have a 35-year-old that you're going to live with. Who is this 35-year-old?
It's a friend of mine.
Who?
I don't know how to explain it. It's a friend of mine.
What's the name?
Jennifer
Jennifer what?
Ramos.
And where did you meet her?
So me and her know each other through mutual friends, and then we met. I don't know. I guess like in the neighborhood and stuff.
I'm sorry, met what?
In the neighborhood, I guess. Or
So you're just meeting people in the neighborhood and now you're going to live with them? Does she have any children? What are their ages?
23, she has a 23-year-old, a 15-year-old. And then she has one that I think is like 10 years old.
All right, so if I give you probation, I'm not allowing you to live in homes that have children in them. So, and do you know who all lives in that home other than her and the children?
No, it's just them. It's just them.
Are you sure? Have you been to the house? Do you know she has a boyfriend?
She doesn't have a boyfriend.
All right, so when have you been to the house?
So I was there once. I don't remember exactly when, like I said, I was like,
Was that before or after the violation of protective order?
that was before.
All right. Counsel, I don't know if she would be a good candidate for probation. I really don't know.
The remedy of sending to prison is a far worse remedy than trying to find a place for her to live, Your Honor.
Well, I know the state is asking for the minimum. And she applied for deferred adjudication.
He suggests going back to family in Wisconsin.
What I can tell you is you've applied for deferred adjudication. The state, according to the plea bargain agreement, they're asking that if I find you guilty, that your punishment be sentenced to 2 years in the prison. That's the minimum. If I grant your application for deferred adjudication and you're unsuccessful, you're looking at 10 years in the prison, potentially. Do you understand? So I can grant your application for deferred adjudication, or I can sentence you to 2 years in the prison. And the conditions that you receive are the conditions that you receive from me. There's no need to argue about the conditions that I'm going to set for you if I grant your application. So do you want the minimum 2 years in prison, or do you want to be on deferred adjudication with the court's conditions? Are you sure? Because let me just tell you, you know yourself better than your attorney knows you, better than I know you. I know that you've been dishonest with me today, but your choices are, and you need to think long and hard about it. 2 years is the minimum. The range of punishment for this offense is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison. If I grant you deferred adjudication, if for some reason your deferred adjudication is revoked, you're looking at potentially 10 years in the prison and up to a $10,000 fine. So you know whether or not you can complete this successfully or not. Part of being on probation is you are not allowed to use drugs, period. There's no marijuana, there's no Xanax, none of that. And I'm not going to allow you to reside in any home with children. You're an adult. You need to get your own place. You need to stop depending on other people. Do you understand? So, do you want the 2 years in the prison, or do you want deferred adjudication? All right. Yes. Yes. All right. This is what the court will do. The court is going to sentence you to 8 years deferred adjudication. There's a $1,500 fine. Time and money will run concurrently. Oh, I'm sorry, state. Oh, you're right. Thank you. State your excuse. I appreciate that. So there's a $1,500 fine probated. Proof of employment within 30 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no residing with minors or anyone over the age of 55. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Carmen Rivas or Hector Rivas. This is to run concurrent with 2025 CC 003873. Can I see the MIC evaluation again, please? Thank you. Thank you. In custody, the following: a referral to felony drug court and a TAP evaluation. If not accepted in felony drug court, follow all TAP recommendations. There should be 200 hours of community service restitution. 100 of those hours will be deemed satisfied. You're going to obtain your GED. Do you understand? And the other 100 hours will be deemed satisfied if she obtains some type of trade school certificate or higher level of education. Do you have any children?
No,
All right. And you're saying you're thinking about a transfer to Wisconsin?
yes.
Which county?
I'm not sure the exact county, but it's in Milwaukee.
All right. Let me see what Google tells us. No, they're saying it's Milwaukee County. So transfer to Milwaukee County. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice, and 90 sober meetings in 90 days. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? All right, did you review the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, yes.
Judge, can you repeat the sober support meetings?
90,
Okay, and anger management, possibly?
yes. I'll add anger management. All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, before you get in another relationship with anyone else, you need to get your life together and decide who you are and what you want to do in this world. You understand? She's all right. So here's what the court doesn't understand. There's a new number 1 and there are 2 violations of condition number 41. So why are you all not proceeding on those violations?
Not aware of why that's, Judge. I was just instructed by the attorney assigned to this case that they just wanted to withdraw the MTR and hold off on proceeding before that new number 1 was ready, since that would probably be the strongest basis to argue for revocation.
Well, you all need to confer, because he has a violation of conditions number 41. That means that if those are true, that's something that needs to be done, because obviously if that was true, there's something wrong with his UAs, maybe, I don't know. And he's on probation for driving while intoxicated. So do y'all want to talk to probation about that?
We have a little bit, Judge,
Okay.
about potentially altering and amending.
Well, is the defense in agreement to altering and amending?
Judge, we've talked about altering, amending and adding a couple of conditions.
And what would those be?
ISP, sober support meetings, potentially GPS if he is able to bond out. I think the bonds are fairly high on his new cases. But while I think that's unlikely, we put a few conditions in place for that.
Probation? Oh, I'm sorry. So they're saying that they want to withdraw the motion. And they're saying ISP and,
I just don't know that felony drug court will take him back at this point, Judge.
oh, no, they're not.
Right, so I did recommend GPS, intensive supervision, sober support meetings, and the IVR hotline.
And Judge, he does have the ignition interlock and has had it.
All right.
And the other, I'm just handing that to you, Judge. The other, when he submitted other UAs, Judge, there's other two. So I believe there are 4 total that he submitted, and 2 of them were negative and 2 of them were diluted. So it was negative, dilute, and then negative.
And I'm not aware of any ignition interlock violation.
I'm not aware of any either, Judge.
All right. So you're asking that the motion to be withdrawn, and of course, the court can't proceed if nobody's presenting any evidence. And the alternate amend, so withdraw motion. Alter and amend to include, sorry, you're all requesting full GPS?
Yes.
One of the conditions, should he make bond, is partial, and we would be asking for partial.
For what purpose? Partial for?
Yeah, good point, Your Honor.
All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do full GPS. Once he provides proof that he's employed, the court will reconsider.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So there'll be full GPS, waive fees, ISP, and how many sober meetings probation?
Judge, 90.
All right, there'll be 90 sober meetings in 90 days. Is there anything else probation?
On it, or IVR hotline, or just continue with it?
Just continue with the ignition interlock. All right. Is there anything else you need from the court?
No.
Anything else from either side?
Judge, I'll just ask, are the 90 meetings Zoom or is that in person?
He can do that by Zoom. I believe they have Zoom. If they don't, just let probation know and we'll figure something else out.
Is that off the view while he's in custody?
No,
Okay, so
it's going to have to be when he's, well, I will tell you this. I take that back. I said no too quickly. Ethics is early. Ramirez Hernandez, can I have parties announce?
Andrew Harrison.
Rafael Leal for Mr. Ramirez Hernandez.
All right, and we have an interpreter here. If you could raise your right hand, please.
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Bean Abrams, license number 2081.
And I previously asked this before and I know the answer, but Mr. Leal, do you speak Spanish fluently?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you been able to communicate with your client about this hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Hernandez, you entered a plea of no contest in each of these cause numbers. In each of the cause numbers, you submitted an application for deferred adjudication. And each of the cause numbers, the state is silent on your application. They're asking that your punishment be assessed at a cap of 12 years. The cases are to run concurrently, and they're taking in consideration 2024 CR 001-830, 2025 CR 001-800B, 2024 CC 742954. And at your entering of the plea, the court informed you that if the court were to find that there was sufficient evidence to find that a weapon were used, the court would enter an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. Counsel, do you have any witnesses?
Your Honor, before we proceed, I have a mitigation expert
Yes.
that has interviewed Mr. Ramirez Hernandez, and he's asking me, this is a mitigation expert from MAC, the Management Assigned Counsel, and he asked me to request that he will need additional time to give me a report and provide more information concerning Mr. Ramirez Hernandez, social history and mitigation evidence.
And how much time is he requesting?
He asked me for 30 days.
I understand you. So you want to call him and let him know? Tell him that if he has already interviewed him, and this case has been, since May 30th is when the plea was entered. So if you want to call him and see if,
He says that, Judge, that he was planning on meeting with him 2 or 3 more times to properly develop that.
I can, all right. So the first thing I have here is I have the state asking to amend the indictment. Have you had notice of this, counsel?
I have not. My first appearance with Ms. Jones, so.
Okay. And so I know it's your first appearance, but if that's something you're going to have an objection to.
No, I don't object to this, Judge.
All right. So we'll put that on the record and we'll make sure you have a copy of that.
Yes, Judge.
All right. The court is calling 2025 CR 002139 State versus Ashley Jones. Could I have parties announced?
Charles Blunt for Ms. Jones.
And are you Ms. Jones?
Yes.
All right, the state has filed a motion to amend the indictment. And state specifically, what are you asking for in the amendment?
Judge, if I could.
And I think that was filed by someone other than you.
Judge, so we are asking for the term that the grand jury was impaneled to change from 2026 to 2025.
All right, defense, any objection?
No, Judge.
So that will be granted. All right, and I know, State, you're probably not prepared today, but the defense has filed a motion to suppress evidence. And counsel, what is it based upon? Just a general idea?
Those motions, Judge, are just
General, okay.
general, yes. So at this time, we're not asking for those to be heard.
All right, so counsel, I know you say this is your first
It is.
appearance. Then you don't know if you have all discovery or not.
I do not know yet. Mr. Stout is present, is the special prosecutor for the State Board of Insurance. He's present in the back as well. So I've been conferring with him. He and I are going to confer. He's going to get me all the discovery. We're
So,
asking for like 45 days if we could,
all right, so do y'all think it's going to take 45 days?
for me to review all the discovery.
No, I mean for you to receive it, because
No, I don't think it'll take that long to get the discovery, but just for me to get it and review it and then return to the court.
All right, is there a need for a flash drive or
I
external
don't
hard
think
drive?
so.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, reset this for discovery for 30 days. It's just to make sure you
Yes,
have everything.
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
So in violation of condition number 5 in Dare County, Texas, the defendant Erica Ann Arevalo, the defendant there failed to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December 2024 in violation of condition number 5.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
We're waiting abandonment.
Any objection to the waivers? Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 5, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 5 years or 99 years or life in prison and up to $10,000 fine? Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 5? No. Do you still wish to plead true, knowing that I could send you to prison for life?
Yes.
All right, the court will find violation of condition number 5 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
Judge, there's not. State is asking for revocation
given the defendant's being true and non-compliance with reporting of conditions of probation.
All right, and defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, if you look at the court summary, probation was recommending SATIF. And in this case, we are asking that the court consider something lesser than sending Ms. Arevalo to prison. We obviously, by pleading true, she understands that it was wrong to not report for over 2 years. But I would like to point out from January of 2021 until July of 2023, she did report. She was reporting. She did complete the outpatient treatment program, and she was holding down a full-time job. That job, which she still has, well, did have until she was arrested last month. She's a full-time cashier at a Shell gas station. It's the same job she had when she got this probation. And when she stopped reporting in July of 2023, and I'm going to have her speak to the court, but she sort of got tasked with helping take care of her disabled mother. She's also been helping her grandchild, helping take care of her 5-year-old granddaughter who has she's special needs. She has a feeding tube. There's a lot of issues going on. And so she put that above taking care of herself and doing what she was supposed to do by reporting to probation. She has no criminal history besides this felony case. She does not have any other felonies. She's never been on any other type of deferred adjudication. And she's never been to prison, obviously. So we're asking the court punish her by sending her to a treatment facility, but give her a second chance before she's gets a felony conviction and has to go to TDC. And if I would like to call Ms. Arevalo.
All right, you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Erica.
All right, you may proceed.
Hey, Erica, I want you to tell the judge, why should she give you this opportunity? Why should she not revoke you and continue you on probation? Can you tell the court?
You can give me a second chance. I'm more better out there of service out there in the world than I am in prison. Never been to prison. This is actually my first time ever being locked up this long. I'm actually I did a whole 180. That was in 2020. I work now. I am actually a grandmother. I still take care of my kids. I still, my son lives with me. I help my mother because she's disabled. My brother was her provider, but then he passed away like 3 months ago. So I've been having to help my daughter with her special needs. She's blind and eats through a feeding tube. So I also have to help her. I'm a babysitter for my other daughter while I'm not working. So I don't want the felony on my record because then it would be harder for me to get a job. So if you could just put a chance on me again, I'm actually a lot better out there than I am here. And I'm not even a criminal. I've never even.
No, I mean, you had drugs that you intended to deliver. They were in baggies. And what I can tell you is everybody in the box will tell me that they're better in the real world than being in prison. And one of your conditions of probation that you just testified to violating is that I ordered that you were not to have unsupervised contact with minors and you're babysitting. And the reason why I ordered that is because you have possession with intent to deliver drugs. And it was a lot of drugs.
No, I mean, that's not the reason why I totally dropped all of that when my grandkids came up, because how am I going to help them if I'm in prison? So that's basically.
I mean, all you had to do was report.
I mean, I've been taking care of everybody else besides myself. And
So honestly, basically, you haven't been doing probation. You know, a lot of people feel as though when they're on probation, they're supposed to report and do certain things. Those are called their conditions. And they're just like, well, I know I didn't do anything on probation, but I didn't pick up any new offenses. I'm just out here living my life. If that's the case, then you're not really on probation because you're not reporting, you're not doing anything that you're supposed to do. You're just living your life. And when people come before me and they say, I know I haven't reported for over a year, which you haven't reported for over a year, but I didn't pick up any new cases. Do you know that is not really saying anything? Because there are a lot of people who are not on probation and who haven't picked up any new cases. That's like the bare minimum. Don't pick up any new cases. Don't, join a gang. So you haven't done anything on probation. What have you done?
I've been working and helping out my family and
No, what have you done on probation?
I did that class and I was doing everything until I ended up having to move in with my mom, and then she ended up losing her housing. And I know life is like the dumbest, but actually I've been living life trying to better myself and do the, if you could just give me, I've never even been to prison. I'm sorry, I don't want this on my record, because then it's going to be harder for me to even get a job when I do get, say you do send me. It's kind of going to be even harder for me to, so if I could, please don't send me to prison. Not a prison person.
I don't know anybody who's a prison person, really. But here's the thing. These are consequences to actions, right? So you're not reporting. There was a consequence to that. You could potentially end up being revoked. And I usually tell people, hey, if you think that some action you're going to take could potentially result in you going to prison, then don't do it. If you think it may happen, then don't do it. And you did it. You didn't report. Nobody's seen you for a year. Everything that you're telling me now, nobody's seen you for a year.
I've had a job for 2 years, so I wasn't on the run. I barely started getting child support. I barely started getting my income tax.
No, I understand what you're saying, but you're on probation for possession with intent to deliver drugs. That means that you have drugs for selling, and they were packaged for selling. And you were given deferred adjudication, 5 years deferred adjudication, and nobody's seen you.
Another little treat or
No. This is what the court is going to do. The court is going to find violation of condition number 5 true. The court is going to find you guilty. The court will revoke. I'll take into consideration that the fact that she hasn't picked up any new offenses, and I'll sentence her to 5 years in the prison. Give her credit for any time served and request the therapeutic community. And there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. And there's a $1,500 fine, time, and money to run concurrently. Let's see. All right. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? You have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegation in the motion, not the fact that you are on deferred adjudication. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right. Good luck to you. Thank you. Court is calling 2025 CR 001088 State versus David Richard Graham. Can I have parties announce?
Roberto Ambrosino for the defense.
And are you Mr. Graham?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Graham, did you review the application for community supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Judge. Waiving the repeat or offender enhancement allegation.
No objection.
Did you review the court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent. By entering this plea, you are giving up those rights. Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes,
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do.
Mr. Graham, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. The state recommends community supervision. They'll take into consideration 2024 AL 005161. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
State?
Yes.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, have there been any such motions?
There have not.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 4 years. There will be random UAs and random field visits. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? State any evidence.
Contained in Exhibit 1.
No objection.
State you may be excused. Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Just ask that you hold the plea bargain.
All right, Mr. Graham, have you ever had any mental health diagnosis in the past?
Yes, I have, ma'am.
All right, and what has that been for?
PTSD, depression, and bipolar.
All right, so I'm looking at your history just based upon what's in the indictment. Is there some reason why in the months of May you tend to fall off?
Bad time for me. I lost parents during that time. Also just brings back a lot of memories from early 90s serving.
Okay.
And just, I kind of, I guess I go out there and, I am seeking help for it. I am looking to the VA for more mental health, more help. Center for Health Care has offered help for me. So I am looking into that. It's real hard for me during certain time of months of the year. I do get my flashbacks and I do just resume with that problem.
So Sean, do you know if somebody from a Veterans Treatment Court can come up? All right. So we're going to see if somebody from Veterans Treatment Court can perhaps help you. All right.
Okay.
And they can get you in touch and be a liaison between you and your treatment. And I'll see if maybe Veterans Treatment Court will accept him into their program, because I don't have the manpower to be able to see you on a weekly basis or on a daily basis, but they'll be able to work with you and make sure that if there are any issues or anything you want to discuss, they'll make sure that you have someone that you can discuss that with. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Do you have any children?
I have one 15-year-old with their mother. I have no contact.
All right. Do you have any other family support?
Basically, I have nephews, but it's just considering my actions in the past and what things are bond. I've kind of pushed myself away from my family due to that reason.
Okay.
Is I know at times I am very unstable.
Okay.
And I just prefer to not endanger anybody else and keep to myself.
All right. And so this apartment where you were staying at, if you were released, do you have a place to stay, or that's going to be something that you'll need to work out?
That's gonna have to work out now. In fact, I was possibly going to. I need to get out of sleep. That's number one in my book. That's where a lot of bad things. I need to get in the country where it's less people to say want to complying more there. Somewhere in an open area. And I have a spot that I'm looking.
Okay.
I was looking at until I got arrested.
Mhm.
But I need to get back to these people and talk with them, to work with them about my check, my pension I received and all.
All right. So when we're going to have somebody from VA come down to speak to you, and I'm going to recommend that you be referred to the Veterans Treatment Court. So they're going to come and speak to you. I'm going to send it to you now, and they're going to come speak to you. And if there's anything else that you need, they'll let me know. Okay.
Okay.
And they'll be able to confer with you and make sure that you
Okay, I just got
have the right people.
I just got out of a rehab facility that the VA has.
Okay.
So I just got out of there.
All right. So this is what I'm going to do. There's going to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. There's going to be a referral to Veterans Treatment Court. And if he's not accepted, then we'll do a referral to the mental health court. Counsel with the mental health court. It's a pretrial diversion program. So you can speak to them if he's not accepted, and just let them know that if he is accepted, I'm sure the state will have no objection to filing a motion for new trial, and I'll grant it. And that way he can be in that program.
Okay, what about for the Center for Healthcare, ma'am?
Oh, they're going to, Veterans Treatment Court will help you with that.
Okay, because where I was staying out, being homeless and stuff, I ran across two people that worked there. They gave me their numbers and they turned around and told me just to let the courts know that I already kind of have a shoot in with them. I just need to get back once again.
No, they'll help you with that. Okay.
Okay, I have their numbers. Like I say, I'm just want to
Yes.
confirm that that you have that there. Then I'm going to go to.
Okay.
As soon as I get released from here, I got the direct numbers, not the office number.
All
I
right.
have the people's direct numbers to call them.
Okay.
So I can work with this.
All right. Thank you for letting me know. All right. And there, if not accepted to Veterans Treatment Court, then a referral to mental health court. Sentence him to 2 years in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. Take in consideration 2024 AL 005151. There will be field visits 1 time per month until accepted in VTC or mental health court. TAP evaluation. That can be out of custody. You're going to have to make sure that you make all of these appointments. If you don't, a warrant is going to be issued, and then they may end up being done in custody. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And we can do a MIC evaluation. And the MIC evaluation, Ms. Abrams, only if VTC doesn't accept him. Probation, is there anything else he needs? All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
All right, proof of employment or SSI
Yeah, let me just.
within 45 days. You just provide that proof to them, okay?
Had a problem.
And if he doesn't, and if he's employed, there's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. I'm not going to give him any community service hours.
Thank you.
He's served his country, and I think the issue with him, we need to focus on his mental health, and there are going to be a lot of appointments for him.
Thank you.
But I am going to make you do sober meetings
That's fine.
because you need that. So we'll do 60 sober meetings in 60 days. Is there anything else, probation? Is there anything else you need from the court?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, sir.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we can go off the record. Probation, they want you to be successful. Your attorney wants you to be successful. State wants you to be successful. I want you to be successful. If I didn't think you could do it, I wouldn't have followed this plea bargain agreement.
Yes.
So if you need help with something, you're going to have to pick up the phone and call someone, because we can't help you if we don't know about it. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you reach out to probation, if you feel they're not addressing the issue, you can always come back to court. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to have you remain out here. Somebody from Veterans Treatment Court is going to come and speak to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then counsel, if you can look into speaking with mental health court to let them know that we'll do a motion for new trial if they're going to accept him.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So they'll send over the referral, and counsel, we'll do the VTC referral in custody, because I really don't want him out there and he doesn't have any. VTC, how long does the referral take?
They're pretty understanding.
Oh, you gave me the look. How long does mental health court referral take? All right, could you go across the hallway and speak to them and ask them, would it be best for mental health court referral, he remain in custody to be interviewed or released? I know mental health court, they're very quick.
Okay. Yeah, I have to go over there anyway.
Okay, all right, thank you. And what page is Graham on? 2, got it. All right, who is here on Ronnie Benson? All right, is this a motion to revoke?
Yes.
All right, can I have a motion to revoke stamp, please? And are you both parties ready to proceed on the motion to revoke?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Your
All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 8253W State versus Ronnie Benson. Can I have parties announced, please?
Andrew Harrison, stay.
Rafael Leal for Mr. Benson.
And are you Ronnie Benson? Did you review the document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, but I couldn't read it because I didn't have my reading glasses. So
Oh,
he explained it to me, but I told him, I said, I already been tried on this case.
no, you have not. So what has happened is you're on probation for driving while intoxicated third or more. And there are conditions that are set for your probation. So technically you've pled to the DWI. So that's not what you're here for today. You're not here for a DWI from 2020. What you're here for is they're saying that while you were on probation, you did not do something or you violated some condition.
Yes, it was my doctor. He changed my medicine and I came up.
No. Here's the thing. That doesn't address these issues because none of these allegations in the motion has anything to do about your doctor. It has different conditions. So what's going to end up happening if both parties are ready to proceed, the state is going to read what they said you did not do. You're going to enter a plea of true or not true, and then I'll make a decision. Do you understand? All right. So are you the same Ronnie Benson who was placed on community supervision in 2020 CR 8253W for the offense of driving while intoxicated third or more on August 27, 2020 for a term of 6 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. State.
On or about the 17th day of March 2025 in Garrett County, Texas, the defendant Ronnie Benson is there about to submit to the testing as directed by the court / supervision officer in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State waives the remaining violation obligation.
Any objections to the waivers?
No, no.
All right. Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 2, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 6 years in the prison and up to a $1,500 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 2? Court will find violation of condition number 2 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
Yes, Judge. Amend conditions. Deny the motion. Amend conditions for weekly UAs for 30 days, followed by monthly thereafter. Intensive outpatient with PCC SCD and documented sober support readings as recommended by TAB.
All right. So what has he done on probation?
Judge, he has been, aside from those violations, he has been compliant to a substantial amount of the conditions. He is, for all practical purposes, not employed where he's paid with money. He's paid with by giving him a place to live and kind of like room and board. That's how he gets paid, and he gets SSI of $900 a month. So that's one of he's behind in payments, but that's his economic situation. Most of the, aside from those allegations, Judge, he has a bunch of tests that are negative, and we're asking that the court agree with the recommendation and give him those conditions and place him back on regular supervision.
Probation?
Judge, Mr. Benson was in drug court from May of 2021 to March of 2023. Completion of that program, he did the DWI intervention. He has gone through one round of outpatient treatment. He's finished his victim impact panel. He was on the transdermal alcohol monitor. He finished that. He did the required sober support meetings. He has completed most of the terms of his probation. It's just the with these slight violations.
You want to raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Ronnie Benson.
All right, Mr. Benson, do you want to go to prison?
No, ma'am.
Then why are you not doing what's required?
I've been doing everything they asked me to do.
But why didn't you submit to the drug testing?
I did everything I could.
No. They said, and you just pled true to not testing. Why didn't you test?
I probably didn't have a way.
Did you call somebody and say, I don't have a way to come in to test?
I believe I told the judge.
No, because I'm the judge. You didn't tell me.
Oh, I thought it was good for.
All right, but you've completed drug court. That's why you're back here. You're back here and your case was not, usually they will terminate your probation when you complete drug court. But the reason why they didn't in your case is because there is no early termination for DWIs.
That's right.
So
I did everything they asked me.
they asked you to submit a UA and you didn't. So my question is, why didn't you do that?
I probably didn't have a way, or I didn't have the money.
Did you call somebody?
I called, well, not here, I didn't. But when I was in drug court, I did.
All right, probation, what are you all asking for?
Judge, this is state, indicated amended for weekly UAs for 30 days, monthly thereafter into outpatient treatment and documented sober support.
How often are you doing sober support meetings before you were taken into custody?
I was just doing probation and doing UA and reporting every month.
All right, so here's the thing. When you're on probation and you have a drug or alcohol problem, you have to stay vigilant. Otherwise, you're going to backslide. And it starts by missing a UA and not telling somebody about it, not picking up the phone and giving them a reason why you may not be able to make it. And then the next thing you know, you look up and you're back where you were before. And that's what's happening to you. Now, if you want to go to prison, I will send you to prison today for 2 years. You'll be done. You'll get credit for any time that you successfully completed inpatient treatment. Otherwise, you're going to finish this probation. What would you prefer?
Stay free.
All right, there's going to be intensive outpatient treatment, 90 sober meetings in 90 days. And there will be regular UAs. And he's to continue with ignition interlock until further notice. Yes.
I don't know that it has.
This courtroom hearing turned brutally intense after a woman admitted she was under the influence during a violent fight involving her boyfriend's grandmother. As the judge read the police report out loud, the story became darker and darker. The elderly victim was found bleeding from her head and face, while witnesses claimed the defendant had threatened the grandmother before the attack. But the most shocking moment came when the judge started questioning the woman about her entire life, dropping out of school in 9th grade, living in an abusive relationship for years, violating a protective order, and depending on other people to survive. Every time she answered, the judge accused her of changing her story. Then came the ultimate warning. The judge told her she had 2 choices: take prison time or risk deferred probation that could turn into a 10-year sentence if she failed. By the end of the hearing, the courtroom was completely silent as the judge ordered strict probation conditions, mandatory sobriety meetings, community service, drug treatment, and even forced her to earn a GED. From emotional testimony to harsh interrogations to life-changing consequences, this courtroom moment was absolutely intense.